but
Okay.
she's available by phone.
And then we would, it's time to read the minutes of the 2020 annual meeting by Clerk Christine Privenow, unless someone would like to move to waive the reading.
Does everyone want to, so the minutes don't have to be read. If you want them waived, if you don't, then you can read it.
I will make that motion to waive the
Okay?
reading of
We have
the
a second?
2020 minutes.
Second.
And to approve.
What's that?
Do you want to waive the reading of and to approve the minutes?
Yes, yes, and to approve the minutes, yeah.
Okay, Bruce and Arlen,
Yep.
any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Treasurer's report and budget summary presented by School District Treasurer Kate Green.
We can also,
We can do the same with that if we'd like.
I so moved to waive it.
Okay, Arlen, do I have a second?
I will second that.
Bruce, discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. That brings us to the hearing on the budget. Mr. Mahoney, take it away.
Well, happy to do so. Welcome everybody that is here this evening. As you know, the annual meeting is the culmination of usually about 11 months of planning a budget out. So this is the exciting time that once we're done with this meeting, the $4.2 million relates to the $65.1 million referendum that was successful in 2016. No other debt from previous 1998 referendum that fell off just before we had this last referendum. Refinancing opportunities began in 2023 with our first borrowing, which was about $6 million. So the first one was we had 3 borrowings for the $65.1 million, $6 million, $18 million, and $41 million. So as we move forward, there are going to be refinancing opportunities which are very helpful. The first one will start in 2023. For those that will be here in 2038, that is when the expected debt is going to be off. I'm not going to run that annual meeting, but congratulations to whoever is here for that one. Capital Projects Fund. These are our large maintenance projects. Coming up, so actually the 21-22 budget, because we start the process in November for next year's budget, we do a lot of planning for our capital plans as we approach January, February, March, because we're going to be signing contracts and getting ready for what's coming up with expenditures during the summer, because usually parking lots and roofing can only really happen usually in July and August. We love for them to start in June, but typically there's always a delay somewhere. So we recently already completed the Indian Mountain Middle School drive that needed work, the CEPS drive over by the tennis courts, and we've had some other projects already. But we'll kind of start talking about for 22-23. I know we're already onto it. I said I'd take a break from it, but infrastructure at the Wabisa softball complex. The district is committed to upgrading that site. We have to get the baseline infrastructure there, which is going to be about $250,000 to $300,000 worth of expenditures. So we'll start beginning that process here shortly. We also need to come back to the school board to talk about the 22-23 year and expenditures that could be possible with regards to the concession storage, restroom complexes at both baseball and softball. The reason I bring that up is that while we had fundraising groups, the boosters that wanted to tackle those projects, and they sincerely that's why they wanted 2 ball diamonds at the baseball complex instead of 1 and a nice concessions, it hit at the wrong time. I think I'll be recommending to the board that there's a couple options we could do where we get those projects started. We'll have to look at one-time funds, and we can also look at, do we have groups reimburse or not reimburse over time? So that'll be a coming attraction for the school board as we begin the 22-23 plans. So that's our capital project funds. Food service, my favorite. I love to eat. School nutrition services, again, free breakfasts and lunch for all students this year. To be honest, I kind of hope they keep that as one of the pandemic learnings, that we actually continue that with the National School Lunch Program, which is run by the, I'm blanking.
Isn't it
USDA. Thank you, Christine. What's been fun about this year is supply chain management. Everybody's heard it in all sorts of walks of life. Sometimes we don't have chicken nuggets. Sometimes we can't get pre-made PB&Js. We have a wonderful new leadership team that has been doing an excellent job of doing rotation of selections. We have really good suppliers, Gordon's, offering us, good up-to-date. We get Saturday and Sunday updates. Our team are looking at Sunday. If they're going to lose something on a Monday, they are already planning before anybody wakes up on Sunday morning, because that information comes in very early. So hats off to that team. What's really been neat is we're up over about 100 kids at most of our sites for breakfast each morning. When I arrived at the district, we actually didn't have breakfast, only at the high school. We've been able to implement it in every building, and it's been a success. And it does offer a good chance for kids to have an equal start to the day.
That's fantastic.
Community Service Fund, another fun one. That houses our activities that support MREP, McFarland Recreation and Play, the AOAC, Angie O'Donnell Aquatic Center, and MPAC, McFarland Performing Arts Center. In the last 2 years, we've developed a new leadership team that consists of Stu Schaefer overseeing. He's now the Director of Community Services and Programming. The board put that in place back in the summer of 2020 with anticipation that we would be bringing on a new supervisor for the PAC, which started as of July 1. And that's been very successful. We've had recreational growth. Our aquatic and MPAC facilities in high demand. A lot of schools around us are building pools right now as well, because they're kind of behind the game. So we've been in demand, and we've been a good partner with Stoughton, DeForest, Middleton, due to some issues that they've been having as well. We also this year, most of our increase for the tax for community service is in support of the $26,000 that we will be supporting the McFarland Youth Center with, and that is up from our $15,000 commitment that was previous. It also supports our police liaison services with our village. That would conclude my presentation on the budget.
Any questions or comments? Nothing out there? Anything here? Thank you very much, Mr. Mahoney. As always, do a fantastic job, and we appreciate all your hard work.
Thank you. Adoption of tax levy. I'll again point out that the total tax levy is $18.3 million. It's a 1.4% increase over last year's. We had equalized value growth of 6%, which results in a 4.3% decrease in the mill rate per $1,000 of value, which equates to $10.52 per $1,000 of equalized value. So,
Any questions? Comments?
if someone would, there would be an opportunity for a resolution at this time.
Craig, right behind you.
You have someone that,
James?
Yeah, I'd still move on the resolution as printed.
Mr. Hickey?
Yeah, Jim.
Gotcha. Do I hear a second?
And I'll second.
Tom, thank you very much. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, next is salaries for school board members. School board members are compensated at a salary of $3,407.04 annually. The last increase was in 2019. The tasks and responsibilities of the board continue to magnify as educational issues become more important and complex. Any discussion?
I think the board certainly has experienced very trying times, particularly since the pandemic started, but also prior to the pandemic. The responsibilities that you have to guide the direction for the success of kids, both short-term and long-term, is really invaluable. When it comes time, I would like to propose an increase to that salary. It certainly will deserve for the work you do, the responsibilities that you have, and things that you have to confront on a daily basis.
Do you have an amount you'd like to increase it by or percent?
I would increase it by 15%.
Your second?
Second.
Discussion.
I'll just add a little more. I know probably most of you serve on the board to give back to the community, to provide your public servant to the community, and you certainly go above and beyond what's expected. We have a very highly qualified board. I feel as a resident of the district, I'm very fortunate that you're helping guide the district, and I pay much more if I could.
Well, you could.
Well, you could.
Contribute a donation. Well, I'm not ordering, I'm sorry.
And I think sometimes, as a board member, you feel that if you increase your salaries, you're gonna take it from someone else. There's another way of looking at it. Because I know, historically speaking, some board members don't take any salary. It's also an opportunity to take a salary, if you don't want it or need it, reallocate, personally, donate that money to a need that's in the district. Be it students who are struggling, who need tutoring, scholarships for kids, for field trips, providing extra training for parenting workshops. I think sometimes those things don't make it into the budget.
But you aren't trying to guilt them into having to do that, are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay, just checking.
But I think some board members feel guilty taking the salary that's offered.
Yeah, I understand.
I don't know how to, am I speaking as a community member?
Yes.
Right. I, as a community member, but this is hard. I hope that we continue to look at the board composition. It is quite a bit of time, and if I would hope that we would have people who would try to be elected, who have kids in the district. I think that's really important. As a community member, I feel like having kids in the district is a really important experience, especially to be on the board. And I would hope that the salary would encourage people to do it, which is why, as a community member, I could see raising it, because I feel like if people are working a part-time job or at home with children, that perhaps this would help offset any costs for them to be on the board. I'm speaking as a community member at this point.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, if there's no other discussion, all those in favor of Tom's proposal to increase the school board salary by 15%, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay.
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 Let's do a show of hands. All those in favor of Tom's proposal to increase school board salary by 15%, please signify by raising your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. All those opposed, please signify by raising your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so the motion is defeated. 5-4. As a board member, I appreciate the sentiment for sure, and I appreciate your support. Moving on.
No,
No,
we
you
still
need
have
to still make a
You
motion.
need to make a motion to pay something.
Oh, I see. Well, I will move to.
May I ask a question? Would there be, so if I was correct, 15% was a $511.06 increase. That would take it to $3,918.10. If $500 is too much, is there a dollar amount? Is that even a question that I can ask as a community member?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Is there a dollar amount that you'd be comfortable with raising it if it was not $511? If we say $250? Or if we go to a round number, let's say, I don't know, $3,750, $3,750. Would that be something that you'd be comfortable with?
Remember in my blog, I did say that I think you're all underpaid, so.
But none of us ran for that. I didn't even know we got paid. In fact, I joked about it, one time.
Well, and once again, I guess, we might have the privilege to say we don't need that money, but
Yes.
for people, that was my point earlier, that I feel like I would like to incentivize other people running for the board. It's an important job, and we need people to do this work. So I'm speaking as a community member.
Jim?
Yeah, it's a little disappointing, frankly, to see it, the animal, Mr. Louis' motion kind of go to the side. And it's just, you think about it, you guys are on the front line. I can't think of, I've been trying to get an audience with, our assemblymen or other assemblymen, like the Honorable Robin Voss and some of those guys. You can't get it. They won't let you, they won't even take your call. So my point is, you guys are literally on the cutting edge of what goes on. And you got a lot of responsibility, and I don't think at all you should be so humble and so afraid to take what a community member as gracious as Mr. Rooney has put on the table. And Angie, I think you raised another point. So I don't want to spend all night on this. Certainly I could, but God damn, seriously, folks, take a pat on the back when you get one. And I think Ms. Pribbenow hits it right on the head about getting board members on board, and that's all I have to say. So I'd really like to see it reconsidered, or cut it in half, whatever. Period. So I don't know.
Hearing that discussion, are there any alternative motions to be made out there? If not, we'll move on.
There has to be a
There has to be a
motion
motion.
made in fact, of some type.
Well, I'd make a motion kind of in the favor of, in the tenor of Angie there, the salary be $3,657.04. Cuts it in half might make, because I understand how you feel. I do get that, but I just heard in the newspaper today, Wisconsin has the highest number of recalls in boards in the United States of America. Just so you know. Not all of them are going to election, but that's a fact. NPR, check it out.
I'll second the motion. I'm sorry, what was the dollar number? The dollar
I
number?
had-
$3,657.04.
I'm sorry.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay, so Vicki and Melissa?
Yes, sir.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All of those in favor of the motion to increase school board salary to $3,657.04 from its current $3,407.04. Please signify by raising your hands. 7. Opposed? 1, 2, 3. Motion passes 7-3. Thank you, Dr. Hickey. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, community members. All right. So next is disposal of surplus reimbursement.
Number 9.
Reimbursement of school board members. Authorize the payment of actual and necessary expenses of a school board member when traveling in the performance of duties and their reimbursement for actual loss of earnings when duties require the school board member to be absent from regular employment. A note, the board is paid for food and lodging and other miscellaneous expenses when conducting school business outside the district. Mileage is based on the IRS reimbursement rate. Let's see, do I have a motion to authorize the payment of actual and necessary expenses?
I so move.
Arlen, we have a second.
I will second that.
Bruce, any discussion?
I just wanted to say, I think that's the kind of thing that addresses the person that you were talking about, Christine, who, you know, they're willing to serve their community, but at the same time, trying to take this. I appreciate what you guys did. I think it's wonderful, but I don't think it's what's gonna make the difference for whether someone wants to run for the board or not, or this. This is something that I think for someone who's facing, you know, has some problems with their job or whatever they're getting off, I think this would be very valuable. And I assume that that would cover that, am I right?
Yes.
Missing work or whatnot. Okay.
Well, there may be some people who have to pay for babysitting or
Yes, that's what I'm
childcare.
saying, exactly. I just think that this, otherwise, they're precluded from being able to serve. I think this really helps.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Disposal of surplus property. Be it resolved that the school board of the school district of McFarland is hereby authorized during the current school year to sell and dispose of any tangible personal property no longer needed by the school district and belonging to the school district. Do I hear a motion?
I should move to approve that guideline for disposal of surplus property.
Angie, second.
I'll second.
Christine. Discussion?
Well, is there anything out on the horizon that's worth checking out, you know?
Jeff might be able to address that a little bit better than I
We would
could.
certainly always tell people that the best place to go is go look at Wisconsin surplus. That's where we put our items out. Most notably this last summer, probably about $20,000 worth of equipment from the tech ed department, that their funds and their bids went very well, and they were able to take those funds and repurpose into, unfortunately for how the market worked, fortunately for them, they sold higher and were able to buy new equipment at less cost.
Best case scenario.
Best case scenario.
So that's interesting. Swap will give you the money back or a percentage. That's, well, that's interesting, informative.
Is that the state or is that UW?
That's state,
That's state?
yep.
So what's Wisconsin surplus?
Wisconsin surplus serves municipalities and also the general public with online auctions.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's
Just type in
different from swap.
Wisconsin surplus.
I think so, yeah.
That's, they sell their vehicles out by Mount Orem.
Oh, that, okay, I know where that is.
Yep.
Okay.
Motion from Angie, a second from
Motion
Christine.
from Angie, second from Christine. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to the annual meeting date, be it resolved that pursuant to SS 120.08, 1, the school board of the school district of McFarland is hereby authorized to set the annual meeting date for 2022.
So moved.
Was that you, James?
Yeah.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, discussion?
You actually need a date.
Yeah.
We need a date.
No.
No?
We also
I don't
asked the
think
school
so.
board
No?
to set the date.
All right?
We're just authorized to set the date at some point. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Other new business? Anyone?
I'm glad to see some public here.
Absolutely.
And when I was hired as a custodian, I sometimes talk about it. I come to my first annual meeting and it was over a contract. And so we had the auditorium about 2/3 full of people. And it was public and staff. And I got to see my friends on both sides had different opinions. And it all worked through. But it was a very big eye opener for me. But it's good that the public, and I thank you guys, all of you, show up. And, because it is a very important meeting. Thank you.
Participate in the process.
Yeah, thank you.
We appreciate it more than you'll know.
It was almost standing room only. That's what I'm impressed.
Well, I must admit it was your blog, Dr. Anderson, where you said there was hardly any attendance.
All right.
Well, good for you. Somebody actually reacted. About that. Somebody read that thing.
Well, it was that, and also was Wayne's invite. It's actually
Right.
inviting the community to come and join in the
Yes.
process.
Yes.
When you can do that, more people are more likely to participate, or at least to watch.
If you feel comfortable to come.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta start somewhere.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm glad Jim came, because Jim and I have a long history.
Oh,
He's so
boy.
much younger than I am.
So you have one last item.
I move to adjourn.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank
Dr. Anderson, you
one and
may
all.
not want to acknowledge
7:30.